What's up, you guys? Slim here with a more in-depth discussion about the April 1st ban list. Now, I know a lot of people are still in disbelief that this was the ban list that we got. A lot of people were saying that since it was going to be released on April 1st, it was an April Fool's joke, yada, yada, yada. I mean, it still could be. It'd be very, kind of trolly and weird to Konami. I wouldn't put it past them. Um, I really, when I saw this list, I made my quick video about it and I started to do a more in-depth discussion. And I really wanted to make this video like big, like huge. And then I thought about it and it was like, well, it really wasn't a list. Now, a lot of people are going to say, what? What do you mean by that? One of my friends at school put it the best way and said that this list wasn't really a list, it was an adjustment. And the reason why I say that is that basically we are in the exact same format we were last format with some slight adjustments. They slowed down Fire Fist, they slowed down Mermail, um, they slowed down Infernity. They did not completely kill Infernity. I've seen so many people argue on Facebook and other social media websites about, oh, Infernity's dead. They only have one barrier. Oh no, whatever are we gonna do? And then a lot of people were like, the deck's gonna be fine. The deck's, oh no, it lost a barrier, but oh, we have three Infernity breaks. There's a lot of just, people are going and bantering back and forth. So I'm just gonna make this video a little more in depth than my first one. I screwed up on my initial one, and I apologize for that. I just rushed like through the video real quick just to get it up, and I completely ignored the fact that I had said Grand Mole. I think I said something about Grand Mole and Gundy when it was Gundy went to one, so I apologize for that. But I'll get into it real quick. So the banned cards were the Morphing Jar brothers. Now a lot of people were like, "Why Morphing Jar? Why Morphing Jar number two? Empty Jar is not even a deck." All these other crazy things. Well, the reason why they did this is because of Jackpot 7. Those of you who know about Jackpot 7, do they even have it on here? I actually don't know. Let's see. Yeah, Jackpot 7. So, shuffle this card into your deck. This card in your deck. When this card in your possession is sent to your graveyard by your opponent's card effect, banish this card. When three of your Jackpot 7s are banished by this effect, you win the duel. So everyone's like, who cares? Well, the reason is people would use anything to switch Morphing Jar over to their opponent. So creature swap. And just like some other weird stuff just to get Morphing Jar on their opponent's side of the field or Morphing Jar number two or something. And you would basically just mill through the effect, and then you get your jackpot sevens into the graveyard, and then you'd win because of that. I guess that was like one of the main reasons. But also there was a Morphing Jar number two like deck out OTK or something like that. I believe it involved Hyro Shadow Scout and something else. I believe Asian Eyes White Dragon has that video, so be sure to if you want to YouTube it, look it up. I saw it really quick, and I don't remember if it was on his channel or someone else's channel. It could have been MCole40's channel, but these are the reasons why I think the Morphing Jars were banned. They also don't want these cards to be played at Nationals and Worlds. So they banned the Morphing Jar brothers, but honestly, outside of that, there was no other reason to ban them. Morphing Jar wasn't even being played in Dark Worlds; it was sometimes sided. And Morphing Jar number two was a cool side deck card. A lot of people use this. Pete Navarro used this and talked about this card so much, and it was just a great way to get around like crazy decks that would spam. You would just send back everything, and then just what do you call it? Just make them just like completely reset their board. So it was really cool. So that's it for the ban cards. It was just the Morphing Jars, which was crazy. We expected more stuff to get banned, and it didn't. But onto the cards that were limited to one. First was Coach Soldier Wolfbark. So I saw this coming. Everyone saw this coming. Should be no surprise to everybody. Wolfbark is an amazing card. It made +1 Fire Fist what it is. This card is just so good. It's the fact that you can do it, even if it gets Veilered, if you don't deal with it, you can do it again next turn. This card is absolutely phenomenal. The easiest way to make your rank 4s. I really think this card going to 1 was a good call, just because it was pretty unfair, the fact that you could just constantly reuse it. But even then, it does not kill Fire Fist at all. 3.5 Fire Fist is still a deck. Versions of that deck were only running one copy of Wolfbark. It is searchable. You still have 3 tanky, so Wolfbark is still at 1 is still completely playable. It only sucks for people who ran 3. The one thing I really disliked about this is it was half of the reason why Fire Kings were doing so well, and no one had seen that deck top, and now it's topping. And I mean, unfortunately, this will be the deck is taking a huge hit. Out of most decks, it took the most hit by losing Wolfbark, so it kind of sucks. But they had to do what they had to do because of the +1 Fire Fist on the 4 axis was just dominating the format. Abyss Guns. So honestly, this was. I mean, it was fine that they put Gundy to 1. But the problem is that if they really wanted to hit Mermail, like hit them to where they were really going to be slowed down and maybe not even be played, is they would have to hit Abystius and Abyssphere. If they hit Abyssphere and Tejas to one, it pretty much kill the whole deck. The fact that they hit Gunday means they wanted to keep the deck alive, and a lot of people were thinking that, oh no, people aren't going to play water now. That's completely crazy. Water's kind of laughing at people because it's like, okay, we only have one Gundy, but it's not like we can't use Turge to get back other stuff. Gundy is searchable in the deck. Salvage is a card. I think a lot of people forgot about that. You can just salvage back Gundy and reuse it. So honestly, putting it to one, it's like, okay, we have room for more cards, and now we're just going to search Gundy and we're going to use it anyway. So didn't really hurt Mermail at all. Basically adjusted the deck. Same thing with Wolfbark. That's why I said adjustment. They just adjust these decks. They did not kill them at all. So pretty crazy on that. A weird call, I guess. A Gundy. It was the most random thing. This list is very small, as you guys can see. It's a very small list, but yeah, the Gundy going to one. I mean, okay, it stops the overall like ridiculous spammage of Mermail monsters that come out because of Gundy, but anyways, it's still going to happen because once you search Gunday and use the effect and you get it back with Turge or you do something else, it's going to happen again and again and again. So basically, it won't happen as consistently, but it's still going to happen. Rekindling to one, I agree. This was like the main thing I agreed with the most. I actually wanted to see this card banned. This card was really unfair. There were so many times, and I know a lot of people can attest. Like if you're playing against a deck that ran Rekindling, whether it was Fire Kings or three axis Fire Fists, like you could be winning the whole game, be in good control, clear the board, they were kindling, they rip rekindling off the top and you lose because of it. It's happened to me hundreds of times playing against three axis. This card was absolutely insane. They could have banned it, they didn't. They put it to one, which is fine, I guess. They won't draw it as consistently, but they will still get to it sometimes. Sometimes they'll still open it. It's just going to be a one of. It's going to be like any one of in the game, so it can still be drawn. It can still be used. And the one thing is that it did hurt Lavels and it did hurt Fire King, so that does kind of suck for those other two fire decks. But the main focus was for Fire Fist, so hitting this to one did slow down the deck, but didn't kill the deck completely. Now, Infernity Barrier. Everyone's like, Infernities are dead. No one's gonna play Infernities. That's like the furthest thing from the truth. The reason being is I don't know if people remember, but at one time I believe the OCG didn't have barriers, so they just played three breaks and they just used other traps. Granted, they did have a format where they had like the triple Trishulas, because I know someone was gonna make that argument in the comments below and say, oh yeah, well you forgot they had Trishulas and all that, and that's true. But I still feel that Infernities are not dead. They took a big hit. This was a huge hit. I will not say this was not a huge hit. If they wanted to hurt the deck more, they could have hit Launcher. They could have banned Launcher. They didn't. The deck had not won any major event. It did top several regionals. It did, I think, win a couple regionals. It topped a couple YCSs, I believe. But outside of that, people were only playing two barrier. That's the thing, is that they were playing two barrier and three break just because break was able to respond to things without as big a condition. Like you had to have no cards in hand and a face-up attack position Infernity for barrier versus just having no cards in hand for break. And break is just a really cool card, and it just gets rid of problematic cards in the process of your opponent trying to combo. I mean, this did too in a sense, but I really don't see Infernities going away. I think people are still going to find a way to make the deck work because honestly, if they're only running two barriers, they lost one card. Just replace it with something else and just really hold the barrier for when you need it. So I really don't see Infernities going anywhere. This was a random hit. I don't know what the reason is. I guess people could say they were tired of playing against the spammy versions of Infernities, but I mean, every deck at one point is going to spam like crazy. So like i.e. Dragon Rulers, they spam like every Dragon Ruler and then they kill you that turn, so just kind of weird. All right, that was it for the cards that were limited to one. Cards that were semi-limited, Necroface. I really don't know what to say on this card. The only time I ever played this card is when I used like a DD Dynamite, Necroface, D Fissure, DD Survivor kind of weird ass deck back when I was like trying to learn how to play the game, and all I remember is that this card was awesome because like you would send the top five cards and it would do some crazy stuff. Um, I guess like I think it was used in Dragon Rulers in the beginning, like to trigger their effects. It was just a very random techie card, and I don't know. Finding it at two, I really don't know what to say. I'm actually kind of at a loss for words of what will happen with Necroface. If you guys know anything that could happen with it now that it's at two, comment below with your thoughts. That's all I can really say on it. This is getting kind of annoying. Hieratic Seal of Convocation. It came to three. It was originally at 2, now it's at 2 again. So we're from 2 to 3 to 2. I said it in the video before, I'll say it again. Make up your mind. Are we going to get to play 3 or are we going to get to play 2? Hermetic Rulers did do really well last format. They didn't, I don't think they won a major event, but they topped several times. They topped several regionals. They might have actually won a couple regionals. I don't remember. But this card was just for consistency. I guess hitting it to 2 was, I mean, Rhoda's at 1. I mean, but E-Call's at 3. You know, there's just a bunch of crazy stuff. But um, honestly, I guess this slows down Heretics, but they're still going to be able to get to their cards because putting Seal at 2, I mean, Paul Cooper still ran it when it was at 2, and I mean, he can still run it again. So that's all I'm really going to say on that. And then these are the most irrelevant cards to talk about. The cards that came to 3. Magical Stone Excavation, Whoop-de-Dam-Doo, Diamond Dude Turbo, I guess. I mean, there's no Stratos. There's no Stratos. They should have. No, they weren't going to unban Stratos, but Diamond Dude Turbo, I mean, if you want to play a fun deck. Empty Jar is no longer a deck, i.e. the jar is gone. So with Magical Stone Excavation at 3, I mean, I guess. I honestly really don't know what to say, you guys. Like, this is just so random. I don't know what to do with this card. Like, these last 2 cards and Primal Seed, if you're playing BLS, I mean, cool. I mean, I guess putting these cards to 3 really doesn't do anything. I guess that's the point of the cards that get unrestricted is just throw whatever, throw whatever you want at 3 because it's not going to do anything. That's pretty much it. There's no way to really go into much more depth about this. I guess I'll just wrap up by saying that this is exactly going to be like last format, where people are still going to play Water, they are still going to play Fire Fist, they are still going to play Boojins, Dragons, all these other decks. A lot of people are going to ask me, what do I think are the top decks of the format? I've just talked to a lot of people, and it's pretty much unanimous. They feel that Boojins, Mythic Dragon Rulers, Gear are going to be, and Water and Fire Fist are going to be the decks that are played, and just like last format, there's really no difference. The decks have been adjusted. That's it. The main decks that were topping the most are going to be, and winning the most are going to be adjusted. Fire and Water were the main 2 decks, and I mean, that's pretty much it. I don't know what else to say. Am I happy with the list? I'm not unhappy about the list. I think it was a very odd list. I feel that so much more could have been done, but it wasn't. But I'm not going to look at this as really a ban list. I'm going to look at it as, I think I posted on Facebook, same format, minor adjustment. That's about it. Because that's basically what they did. They adjusted some of the problematic cards that the decks ran, and they put a bunch of other random stuff on here. So that's what ban lists usually are. So in the comments below, let me know what your thoughts are. What do you feel the top decks of the formats are going to be? Everyone knows that artifacts are coming out. Apparently there's something with chronomalies going around. So if you guys know anything about that, like chronomalies and stuff, leave it in the comments below. I found a bunch of chronomaly cards laying around, so if they're worth anything or good for anything, I'd like to know. And I'd just like to know your guys' thoughts overall on this format's ban list. It runs till July 13th, I think, which is around the Nationals time. Kind of odd, but that's how they're doing this format for this part of the format. So anyways, in the comments below, let me know what you guys think. Thumbs up if you enjoyed the video. I was planning to do like kind of like a live version of this, but it's like I couldn't get a wolf bark. I couldn't even borrow one. I couldn't find 3 primal seeds to save my life. I found these. I wanted to use secret necrophages to be cool, but I couldn't find them. But anyways, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Thumbs it up, and thank you for watching.